Hello, my sweet children. I am here with an immigrant to talk to you today. What's your name?
My name is Bernice. And
what country are you from?
I am from Harare, Zimbabwe.
What is an immigrant?
An immigrant is someone that moves from one country to another.
Would you call yourself an immigrant?
Yes.
What is culture to you?
Culture is something that kind of influences your behaviors and your morals and how you behave.
Tell me about your family.
I am the oldest of 7 children. I have 2 parents.
Do they all live in America with you, or do they live somewhere else?
It's just me over here. Everyone else is back home.
How does it feel being away from your family?
It was very hard right at the beginning because everyone else is back home, but it gets easier.
Can you describe the culture in Zimbabwe for us, please?
Culture in Zimbabwe is very grounded, I guess, to kind of summarize it. Yeah, it's very old and very traditional. How we do a lot of things. I'm trying to think of an example.
How is it different than America?
How's it different? Firstly, for Zimbabwe specifically, majority of Zimbabweans still live in huts. And we
What's
still
a
cook
hut
in the
for them?
A hut is it's like a house made of clay, and then it has grass at the top. It's kind of tight at the top, and there's no electricity in majority of Zimbabwe. So yeah, that plays a lot into culture.
What are some of the customs in Zimbabwe that we don't have here?
A lot. Firstly, if I was greeting, let's say if I was greeting you, because I'm a girl, I would go like this. So it'd be like, I'd say it in Shona. I don't know if I say in Shona.
Shona is the language that they speak in Zimbabwe.
Yeah. So in Shona, I'd be like, Makadi Taylor.
Makadi, Bernice.
There you go. That's it. And then for boys, they go Makadi Taylor.
Makadi, Bernice.
There you go.
Do you see any of the customs that you have in Zimbabwe in America?
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple that overlap, but there is also a big difference.
What are some of the customs that you see in America that are the same as Zimbabwe?
I would say, I don't know. That's a hard
Any
one.
food, music, dancing?
Oh, probably dancing. Africans love to dance, and so do Americans. So I guess we kind of overlap there. Yeah, it's a good one.
What have you brought here that you feel like has influenced your friends in America from your culture in Zimbabwe?
I'm not sure. I feel like I'm very funny.
You are funny.
That's a good one. Trying to think of something that would sound. I think just I don't know.
We dance.
Can't think.
We do. We love your clothes.
Oh, my fashion sense. It's a good one, Miss Esty.
Thank you, Makadi. What are some of the challenges that you faced coming from another country and moving to America?
Some of the challenges I faced were definitely adjusting to new culture, how things go, just driving on the opposite side of the road, just like little things like burgers here are like humongous. Back home, like a large burger is probably like this big. It's really small. So the food was really hard to adjust to in a good way.
What about language? Did they speak a different language in Zimbabwe?
Yeah, we speak Shona and Ndebele. So Shona is what I'm fluent in, and then Ndebele I can whiff it. So it's the cooking language. It's a lot.
So when you moved here, did you have to learn English for the first time?
No, I went to a private school, so I learned English when I was 6. But I was probably one of the fortunate end of people. It's not very typical for people to be very fluent in English.
How is school different in Zimbabwe than it is in America?
I went to private school. We had a very strict school, and I went to boarding school too. So boarding school was very hard to adjust to because you live with all your friends. You're away from home. You eat together with your seniors and juniors. It's heavily disciplined. So I think that's another big thing, a big shift change between America and back in Zimbabwe.
How is food in Zimbabwe different than food in America? What
Food
are some of your favorite foods from Zimbabwe?
I love sadza, which is it's like a starchy kind of food. It's almost like mashed potatoes, but it's not. You eat it with your hands. I love how they cook. We eat like weird things. For example, like chicken feet. Sounds really gross. Chicken feet. Chicken livers. It's actually very good at breakfast. and something that they call maguru, which is tripe. It's like the lining of a cow's stomach. Really delicious.
And you love cow stomach.
Yeah, I do. It's really delicious. It's like really spicy too.
Do you ever eat things like that in America, or do you feel like you don't eat them anymore now that you moved here?
Every once in a while, one of my African friends will invite me over for dinner, and it's probably like the best time of my life.
How is the music in Zimbabwe and the dancing different than it is in America? Different instruments, different types of music?
Music in Zimbabwe, it's heavily percussion. There's a lot of drums, a lot of guitar, a lot of triangles maybe, just like a lot of African instruments, like the hosho, which is like a shaker, I think is what you guys call it. But yeah, it's very different. It's got more of like an African feel. It's not as like studio based as it is here.
Okay. And if there was one custom that you felt like you would want to bring from Zimbabwe to America that you think would benefit American culture, what would that be?
Probably how a lot of practices that we had in boarding school, just a general aspect of like respecting your elders and the clapping thing too. I think it's a really cool thing because even now, when I see an older person walk through the door, I still wait because that's kind of been instilled in me.
So to respect your elders, which are your teachers. Well, thank you, Bernice. We appreciate hearing from you.
Thanks for having me on your show.
Makadi. And I love you guys.